Okay, looks like now we're going to start getting into the dirty part of this. We're going to sand the boat of the boat bottom. I'm going to use my tools. I'm going to put on a pair of these gloves just to keep my hands from getting too dusty. There's not really too much that wants to stick to me, but as you see, I took my shirt off because I'm going to get my striped shirt here dusty, and I'm going to put on my mask because there's going to be a little bit of copper dust coming off, and so probably be a little harder to hear me when I have the mask on, so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. We're going to use this palm sander. I've got a 120 grit palm on here. I've also got a sponge. I'm going to take and try to get this oxide off. I don't have my taping on yet because I'm going to get right up to the line so I can get the sand right to it. If I sand over it a little bit, I'll end up scuffing this blue, and I don't want to do my tape this year, my blue stripe, so I'm going to just try to get even to it. We're going to do it, then eventually we're going to do everything all the way down the line. I see there's some spider cracks on my rudder. I'm going to show you how to fill those in. It used to be hundreds of spider cracks. There's a couple that did show up over the winter, and so, not over the winter, but from last season. So I'll show you how to fill those. They're getting better and better each year. We have fewer and fewer little imperfections to work with. So I may not be able to find too many on the bottom. It's getting to be a pretty smooth boat for being this 1978. We're getting it back in racing shape each year. So what I want you to notice is when I'm doing this, I'm going to turn the sander on, and you're going to see a little bit of dust, and the dust will all of a sudden, we'll see a nice copper glisten here, and if we can get the camera close enough, we'll probably see how you're actually looking at copper grains here, and you'll see the grains showing through. And that's going to rough this surface up a little bit so my coating will go on, but it'll also primarily get rid of the oxide and little microorganisms that might be on here that I don't actually see. So, getting ready to go here. I'm also going to wear a pair of safety glasses because it's going to be a little dusty. Okay, I've got most of the sanding that I need to do done here. I'm going to use my sponge to go around a couple things. This is my sensor for my depth sensor, and if I coat over it, sometimes it will show, since there's metal in the copper, it'll show that I've got something touching my bottom. So I want to make sure that I don't get my coating over the sensor. So I'm going to just sand it just a little bit, just make sure I don't have anything growing on it. And I'm going to go around the edge of it with my sponge so I can get it in nice and close. Now, I can see here around it, I've gotten through the copper just a little bit. I can see a little of the old blue coat bottom, and that's because this has always been a sensitive area, and I've dabbed that in and gotten it not as tight as I'd like to. But because of that, it's a little more sensitive than the rest of the boat bottom. If you can see, there's a little copper dust. I'm going to wipe it off with a rag, but it's not a big deal if it goes into the finish. After all, we're putting copper back on as long as I don't have any organisms in it. And because we pressure washed it last fall, there's really not much.